If he feels a pleasant feeling, he understands it is impermanent. There is no holding to it. There is no delight in it. If he feels a painful feeling, he understands it is impermanent. There is no holding to it. There is no delight in it. If he feels a neither painful nor pleasant feeling, he understands it is impermanent. There is no holding to it. There is no delight in it. If he feels a pleasant feeling, he feels it detached. If he feels a painful feeling, he feels it detached. If he feels a neither painful nor pleasant feeling, he feels it detached. When he feels a feeling terminating with the body, he understands, I feel a feeling terminating with the body. When he feels a feeling terminating with life, he understands, I feel a feeling terminating with life. He understands, on the dissolution of the body, with the ending of life, all that is felt, not being delighted in, will become cool right here. Monk, just as an oil lamp burns in dependence on oil and a wick, and when the oil and wick are used up, if it does not get any more fuel, it is extinguished from lack of fuel. So too, when he feels a feeling terminating with the body, or a feeling terminating with life, he understands, I feel a feeling terminating with body or life. He understands, on the dissolution of the body with the ending of life, all that is felt, not being delighted in, will become cool right here. Therefore, a monk possessing this wisdom possesses the supreme foundation of wisdom. For this monk is the supreme noble wisdom, namely the knowledge of the destruction of all suffering. I'll stop here for a moment now. So, if a person has finished his work, he has become liberated, then whatever feeling he feels, he does not attach to it, does not even identify the feeling with himself. He just knows something impermanent has arisen and will cease. Then he says here, if he feels a feeling terminating with life, and he feels a feeling terminating with the body. Now in the commentaries, it says a feeling terminating with the body means at the end of life. The other one, a feeling terminating, let me see, there's a commentary, say, 1281. Okay, 1281, that is, he continues to experience feeling only as long as the body with its life faculty continues, but not beyond that. And then 1282, this refers to his attainment of the Nibbana, an element with no residue left. But these two, according to the commentary, the feeling terminating with the body is when he dies. And the other one, feeling terminating with life, is when he attains parinibbana. Parinibbana, that means the Arahant passing away. There's nothing left after he passes away. But basically these two are the same because this person is already an Arahant. So I was thinking about it. Maybe another interpretation is a feeling terminating with the body is when the Arahant attains this state called the cessation of feeling and perception. When an Arahant attains a cessation of feeling and perception, is a temporary state. He can only abide in that state for a maximum of 7 days, after which he will automatically come out of that state. So when he is in that state, the body has no feeling. That's why it's called a feeling terminating with the body. And then the feeling terminating with life is when he is going to pass away. And Arahant has mindfulness 24 hours a day. His mindfulness is so sharp. It does not lapse. So even when he's dying, at the last moment also he knows. That's why when he's dying, he knows, he feels a feeling terminating with life. That's another interpretation that I offer. Okay, then the other thing I'd like to mention here, he understands on the dissolution of the body with the ending of life, all that is felt, not being delighted in, will become cool right here. This might be for the Arahant, but even for an ordinary person, you find that before that person dies, he might be very agitated about this, about that, and all that. But actually, when he's really at the last moment, when he's dying, then he sees another world coming up, another plane of existence coming up. Then whatever was important in this lifetime will grow cold. It's no more important. What is important is where he's going for rebirth. A lot of people, problem is a lot of people, we don't prepare for that moment. So we are still attached to everything in this world. You're attached to your state, to your status, to your wealth, to your property, to your relatives and all that. But in the end, there's nothing at all that you can bring over. Not even your own body you can bring over. So all those things are no more important. At the last moment of dying, what is important is where you are going for rebirth. And for a lot of people, they are frightened because they are not going to a happy place of rebirth. Only when you have prepared yourself that at the last moment you are happy to leave this world and go to a better place. But that's very few people will get that. His deliverance, being founded upon truth, is unshakable. For that is false monk, which has a deceptive nature, and that is true, which has an undeceptive nature, nibbana. Therefore, a monk possessing this truth possesses the supreme foundation of truth. For this monk is the supreme noble truth, namely nibbana, which has an undeceptive nature. Formerly, when he was ignorant, he acquired and developed attachments. Now he has abandoned them, cut them off at the root, made them like a palm stump, done away with them so that they are no longer subject to future arising. Therefore, a monk possessing this relinquishment possesses the supreme foundation of relinquishment. For this monk is the supreme noble relinquishment, namely the relinquishing of all attachments. Stop here for a moment. So here the Buddha says that that is false, which has a deceptive nature, and that is true, which has an undeceptive nature, nibbana. So what is meant here, that nibbana is true and undeceptive. The world is of a deceptive nature. And not only the world is of a deceptive nature, the Buddha says in the Magandhya Sutta, for a long time our mind has tricked us. For a long time our mind has tricked us. Our mind has made us believe that we exist, that there's this self, and that this body is mine, this mind is mine, this feeling, perception, volition and consciousness is mine, etc. So the Buddha says that for lifetime after lifetime, we have been deceived by this thinking mind. Only when you cultivate your mind to such a high degree of purity, then only you can see clearly through all this deceptive nature. Then the Buddha says, ordinary person has a lot of attachment, but this Arahant, he has a supreme noble relinquishment. Formerly, when he was ignorant, he experienced covetousness, desire and lust. Now he has abandoned them, cut them off at the root, made them like a palm stump, done away with them so that they are no longer subject to future arising. Formerly, when he was ignorant, he experienced anger, ill will and hate. Now he has abandoned them, cut them off at the root, made them like a palm stump, done away with them so that they are no longer subject to future arising. Formerly, when he was ignorant, he experienced ignorance and delusion. Now he has abandoned them, cut them off at the root, made them like a palm stump, done away with them so that they are no longer subject to future arising. Therefore, a monk possessing this peace possesses the supreme foundation of peace. For this monk is the supreme noble peace, namely the pacification of lust, hate and delusion. So it was with reference to this that it was said, one should not neglect wisdom, one should preserve truth, should cultivate relinquishment, and should train for peace. So this last part, the supreme noble peace is one who has pacified lust, hatred and delusion. There is no more lust, hatred and delusion in him. He's totally at peace. So here the Buddha talked about wisdom. Wisdom is being able to understand the elements and to understand there is no self, and then to become liberated, and that is possessing the supreme wisdom. And once he has attained liberation, then he has the supreme truth and the supreme relinquishment and the supreme noble peace. The tides of conceiving do not sweep over one who stands upon these foundations. And when the tides of conceiving no longer sweep over him, he is called a sage at peace. So it was said. And with reference to what was this said? Monk, I am is a conceiving. I am this is a conceiving. I shall be is a conceiving. I shall not be is a conceiving. I shall be possessed of form is a conceiving. I shall be formless is a conceiving. I shall be percipient is a conceiving. I shall be non-percipient is a conceiving. I shall be neither percipient nor non-percipient is a conceiving. Conceiving is a disease. Conceiving is a tumor. Conceiving is a dart. By overcoming all conceivings, monk, one is called a sage at peace. And the sage at peace is not born, does not age, does not die. He is not shaken and is not agitated, for there is nothing present in him by which he might be born. Not being born, how could he age? Not aging, how could he die? Not dying, how could he be shaken? Not being shaken, why should he be agitated? So it was with reference to this that it was said, tides of conceiving do not sweep over one who stands upon these foundations. And when the tides of conceiving no longer sweep over him, he is called a sage at peace. Monk, bear in mind this brief exposition of the 6 elements. Stop here for a moment. So this conceiving is, you can say, thinking, having ideas. The normal mind, the Buddha says, tends to proliferate, papancha. One thought becomes 10, 10 becomes 100, 100 becomes 1,000. So there are some people, they think too much. At night, they cannot switch off the mind, they cannot fall asleep. So the mind is a source of suffering. The Buddha says we have physical suffering and we have mental suffering. But the Arya, the Aryan, the noble person, he only has physical suffering. He does not have mental suffering. Mental suffering, you can see, is because of not accepting what comes. But an Arya, he knows that everything that happens in the world is due to causes and conditions. So whatever happens, he accepts it. When you accept it, then you don't suffer. Ordinary person will not accept this, will not accept that, and he thinks and he thinks and he thinks, and the mental suffering proliferates. So this Arahant, he is at peace. He does not have any more conceiving. He does not think, I am this, or I shall be this, or I shall not be this, or I shall have a certain form, or I shall have a formless Deva's body, or I shall be percipient, non-percipient, etc. So the Buddha says, conceiving is a disease, is a tumor, is a dart. That means it's a source of suffering. So when this person has become liberated, he has overcome all conceivings, and he's at peace, so he's not agitated. Thereupon the Venerable Pukusati thought, indeed the teacher has come to me, the sublime one has come to me, the fully enlightened one has come to me. Then he rose from his seat, arranged his upper robe over one shoulder, and prostrating himself with his head at the Blessed One's feet, he said, Venerable Sir, a transgression overcame me, in that like a fool, confused and blundering, I presumed to address the Blessed One as a friend. Venerable Sir, may the Blessed One forgive my transgression, seen as such, for the sake of restraint in the future. Surely, monk, a transgression overcame you, in that like a fool, confused and blundering, you presume to address me as friend. But since you see your transgression as such, and make amends in accordance with the Dhamma, we forgive you, for it is growth in the Noble One's discipline, when one sees one's transgression as such, makes amends in accordance with the Dhamma, and undertakes restraint in the future. Venerable Sir, I would receive the full ordination under the Blessed One. And the Buddha asked, but are your bowl and robes complete, monk? Venerable Sir, my bowl and robes are not complete. And the Buddha said, monk, Tathagatas do not give the full ordination to anyone whose bowl and robes are not complete. Then the Venerable Pukusati, having delighted and rejoiced in the Blessed One's words, rose from his seat, and after paying homage to the Blessed One, keeping him on his right, he departed in order to search for a bowl and robes. Then while the Venerable Pukusati was searching for a bowl and robes, a stray cow killed him. Then a number of monks went to the Blessed One, and after paying homage to him, they sat down at one side and told him, Venerable Sir, the clansman Pukusati, who was given brief instruction by the Blessed One, has died. What is his destination? What is his future course? And the Buddha said, monks, the clansman Pukusati was wise. He practiced in accordance with the Dhamma and did not trouble me in the interpretation of the Dhamma. With the destruction of the 5 lower fetters, the clansman Pukusati has reappeared spontaneously in the pure abodes and will attain final Nibbana there without ever returning from that world. That is what the Blessed One said. The monks were satisfied and delighted in the Blessed One's words. That's the end of the sutta. So this Venerable Pukusati, he asked for ordination, full ordination. So the Buddha said, you have to have complete robes and bowl before you can be ordained. So he went to look for the, maybe he didn't have a complete set of 3 robes. So he went to look for robes and a cow gored him to death. This happens every now and then with monks. Why? Because a monk wears the robe, which is this saffron colored, and these cows, if they happen to have a young calf by the side, and a monk comes near, they tend to attack the monk because this is like the tiger's color. Tiger's color. I had the experience myself, walking through the paddy field. A row of us monks walking to, he didn't notice the cow was tied there with the calf by the side. So about 5 of us were walking, and then when we came near the cow suddenly got up and so fierce, chased after us. They all bolted in different directions. So luckily I think it was tight, so it didn't keep coming after us. So this happens when monks are not experienced. You go near any cow, and after that experience, you know whenever you see any cow, you look whether there's a calf or not. And there's a calf, you don't go near. So this Venerable Pukusati, after he passed away, the Buddha said that he reappeared in the pure abodes. In other words, he had attained Anagamin, third fruition Arya. If that is the case, it means he had already attained the 4 jhanas. So this is a person who had a lot of blessings, is able to attain the 4 jhanas even before meeting the Buddha. Now the thing is, how come the Buddha came to this person, Pukusati? This Pukusati was walking a long way to look for the Buddha. And the Buddha came to him when he was in Rajagaha, before he arrived in Savatthi. If we look in the Vinaya books, we find that the Buddha generally he will look for some person who is ripe for enlightenment. And generally he will look for those people who have attained the 4 jhanas, either in this lifetime or in a previous human lifetime, so that they still have the ability to attain the 4 jhanas. So the Buddha, he surveys the world at night, and when he finds such a person, he will go to that person, teach the Dhamma, and that person can become an Arahant, sometimes just by hearing the Dhamma, either Anagamin or Arahant. So he probably saw that this Pukusati was such a person, and maybe he might have seen that this Pukusati, his life was coming to an end. So he, out of compassion, the Buddha went to him and help him to become anagamin, so that he went for a good rebirth. He never be reborn in the woeful plains. Another person the Buddha went to, if you remember, we read the earlier sutta, was this Angulimala. Angulimala is also a person the Buddha probably saw that he had the ability to become an arahant one day. So, and this Angulimala this bandit had already killed a few hundred people. So the king King Pasenadi was going to catch him, to kill him with his army, you see. So the Buddha went to him before this, the king went to kill him, and then spoke Dhamma to him so that he became a monk. And after he became a monk, he strove very hard and attained arahanthood. So you can see the Buddha will go to those people who have the ability to attain arahanthood. And we know that the condition to become an anagamin or an arahant is 4 jhanas. So generally, the Buddha will look for people with 4 jhanas to help. I think that's enough for tonight. Anything to discuss? This Nibbana, technically a person who has become enlightened, is said to have attained Nibbana. And when a person has become liberated, his mind is said to be cool, no more agitated, no more self. When we have a self, then we want to do this, we want to do that. And Arahant has no more self. That's why a lot of Buddhas, they don't teach. 99.99% of Buddhas, they don't teach. They have no more self. They have no inclination to do anything. But like our Buddha, when the Brahma came to plead with him to teach the Dhamma, after pleading with him 3 times, then he saw there are some people can understand. Then only he went to teach the Dhamma. The other word is parinibbana. This word parinibbana nowadays is used in the sense that when an arahant dies, passes away, then he enters parinibbana. That means he has no more body. The consciousness also has stopped. The body also has broken up, the 5 aggregates.
And then we practice the thought for long time. So we take it around and then when we pass away, we see that we go to study Dhamma.
I forgot, I'm not a Pali scholar. I think from the word parisuddhi, parisuddhi is complete, utterly pure, something like that.
So the Buddha was enlightened at that stage, we cannot talk about Dhamma.
That's how I mentioned. Just now I mentioned that technically when a person becomes enlightened, he has attained Nibbana because he has cut off the greed, hatred and delusion. Okay, shall we end now?